Hi, this is Chris Howard, host of Plugged In with Chris Howard. BetOnline is your bracket headquarters for this season with the best bracket contest, odds, and lines right up to the national championship game. BetOnline is your number one source for all your college basketball wagering. Head to BetOnline today, stay updated on all the action. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Of course, like I have a DM from Lisa Rinna, and I get so excited.
Like,
I'm like, oh my God,
shit.
Lisa Rinna. I'm like so excited. I'm not even thinking it's going to be about this. And she said, listen, Shady Boots.
All right, everyone, welcome back. This one is going to be a good one. I brought back a favorite for both you and me and all the listeners. You know him as the hilarious Bravo fan. He's an incredibly talented actor, and he's one half of the great podcast, Las Culturista. I can't say it. How do you say it?
It's Las Culturistas. You were doing amazing. It's literally,
ladies and gentlemen, it's Mr. Matt Rogers.
Yes, it's me, one half of Las Culturistas. For all the people out there, you did it amazing. It's Las Culturistas. It's like fashionistas or maxinistas. There's no culturistas. There's no ethnic twist.
La Culturistas.
Las Culturistas. You killed it.
La Culturistas.
No, now you're putting too much on it.
I wanted to be like, but there's none of that.
We all want to have that excuse to roll our R's the way we learned in high school.
Matt, is it crazy that you've somehow become like this Bravo phenomenon? Like everyone loves you in the Bravo world.
You know what? I want to say that's true, but that's really not true. All your fans love me. Oh. I get quite the earful from
the other side.
I get quite the earful from the other side. And I even reached out to you after so basically a whole bunch of stuff went down when Andy put me in his book, right? So basically, like, I was in Andy Cohen's book because he shared a story, which really did happen, where I do this bit called I Don't Think So, Honey, where I just sort of rant for a minute about something that I feel like I want to, drag or like talk about. And it's supposed to be fun and lighthearted, but it's very energetic. So I did an I Don't Think So, Honey on Gia because Gia was getting into it with Joe and with you. And like, I thought like it was a little bit of an overstepping moment because it's like hard to engage with Gia because that's your niece. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, it's kind of not really whatever. And it was like fun and funny and lighthearted. But the way he said it in his book made it seem like I was like evil towards her and really dragged her. And
I agree with you. It did come off because you know how it's like almost like a text can come off wrong.
Absolutely.
I thought it came off wrong. First of all, can we clear this up? This was never when you and I were on Watch What Happens Live together.
Yes. And then I felt bad for you because like the people online who don't want to hear any truth, they don't want to hear what the actual real story is. I said I did that on my episode with Karen Huger, which was months before we had ever met. You and I have never talked about Gia. Like I would never be disrespectful to your family anyway, never, let alone like in front of you. So certainly you did not sit there while I ranted against your niece and said nothing. That did not happen, and people just need to get over it because that's the truth. And it also wasn't even that bad. It was funny.
I'm sure it was. Right. And I didn't even know what happened. I read about that in Andy's book as well. And I saw like the chaos of it all. And I'm like, poor Matt. Like, and then I was getting shit like, Melissa, you sit there.
Yeah, you sat by. And it was like, you guys, it was not that deep. It was literally just taken out of the episode because Andy literally thought, if you have another one, let's just do another one. I don't want to deal with Teresa because she will call and be upset because there are some things she could interpret a certain way. You know what I mean? Like, and I was like,
of course,
and
he dodges that bullet all the time. Nobody wants to deal with it.
Of course, because like I would imagine it's a lot of energy when she wants it to be. And so it was meant to be funny. It was lighthearted. I, of course, have my thoughts about Teresa and Louis and the way that her family goes about things, but I'm not going to go out there and be like flat out disrespectful. It was funny.
I was kind of insulted that you were on Watch What Happens Live without me. I'm like,
well, that was before. We had met.
It was way before. But then you just went on again recently.
Yeah, with Bowen.
Totally dressed as Lala in the heels with the stockings. Yeah. I'm dead. Was that so much fun?
It was so fun. So basically, like, Bowen and I, like, pretty last minute got booked on Watch What Happens Live because I think a lot of people have had to cancel recently because of the strike. Like, a lot of actors are not going out and promoting certain things because of the strike. But we were allowed to go on and promote our podcast. So they booked us kind of last minute. And it's like one of the fun things about Watch What Happens Live, as you know, is it's like figuring out what you're going to wear, but you never want to show up and don't look really good. So I was like, I don't know if I can get something good together, like really quick. Like, what am I going to do? And I was watching Watch What Happens Live and Tamara was on with Lala, who I'm obsessed with. And I just saw she was wearing the Send It to Daryl black sweatshirt with like these, you know, like leggings and these heels. And I was like, I want to do just that. I just want to do that. So I sent it to my stylist. I'm like, can you make it happen? He said yes. He did an amazing recreation of it.
Stop. I thought
so
it was
fun.
awesome. I saw so many people. You were on that night and it was like blowing up my Instagram. Everybody, I was like, look at him. I love it. He's like,
well, it's supposed to be fun. You know what I mean? Like, that's my whole thing with like the Bravo world. And like, you know, like this is supposed to be fun. Like, and also my whole message that I try to give out to the world is, you know, don't take everything so seriously. Like,
oh, especially these people online. Some of them, it's like, holy crap. And like what you just said before, they want to take something that they believe is true and like pound it into the ground, no matter how you defend it or prove it wrong. They're like, but no, because no, like they just don't want to believe that what they're saying is untrue. They want to believe their lies.
It just wasn't like that. And I think that here's the thing. It's like, also, it's so much easier to push things that are not true on social media. You know what I mean? It's like because all of a sudden, like this thing that wasn't a big deal, like, and was never intended to be a big deal, became this like, you know, for like a few days or whatever, like became this big deal. And honestly, what I left with thinking was like, wow, I got this amount of bullshit from just 3 days. And that made me really empathize with you about what you must get on social media. Because, and then I was like, when are we going to talk about that? Because look, I've come on Watch What Happens Live and I've had opinions about like Giselle and Robin, and I'll hear from their fans and it will be like, okay, they didn't like what I said. When the Teresa people like heard that I had said something they didn't like, it was another level. And then I was like, poor Melissa.
Wait a second. Do I not get enough credit for like standing strong and like nobody gets it? You know who else recently DM'd me about this?
Who?
Kristen Chenoweth. She was like,
oh yeah, because she also said she was Team Melissa and she probably got it.
I have spoken to her since and she was like, girlfriend, I love you. I have so much more respect for you than I did even yesterday.
Yeah.
And like, she was like, how do you even deal? I was like, I think I'm just so used to it. And it's so weird because they're very loud, but they're not plentiful. I mean, if you look at like a lot of the things and it's just, they're just very loud. Do you know what I mean? And
they take up a lot of space.
They're a nasty crowd. So it's like they lie and they say things that are so shocking and dramatic that they make people pay attention. But, you know, but most people like don't even believe what they're saying because it's so out of whack. I can't.
It's not existing in the plane of reality. It's a reality they've created that they exist in. And that's fine. It's just like, as long as you keep it to yourself, like ultimately it's like you can handle some tweets. And that's actually kind of, I don't know how you feel about it, but it almost is like when you get it in such a crazy way, it almost like adds an armor. And now you can deal with whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody wants that, but it's like, at least now nothing can really bother you on social media because I would imagine you've heard the worst things you can ever hear.
Oh my God. They say my child's not Joe's. They say I make out with producers.
Unbelievable.
Like, you have it's so great. They were saying like when I was, you know, finishing my house, no, she's redoing her house because it's leaking. The ceiling's leaking. Yeah. They were saying she's 100% fired. Really? Like, it's all just, it's like so crazy that it's actually, I've gotten to the point now, and I think my fans and people like you too are like, they don't even listen to him anymore because it's so crazy and so funny. There's literally nothing they can say anymore to like pissed me off, ruined my day.
Right.
Like, I'm like, all right, have a nice day. Like,
But they do take up
like
so
insanity.
much space that it's almost funny. It's like, because we're talking about, like, you see the polls come in and you consistently win the polls, and you have people like, Kristen Chenoweth, people out here being like, we're Team Melissa. Jennifer Lawrence came out and said she was Team Melissa. You know what I mean? Like, we have a lot of people out there who are like vocally Bravo fans who say they're Team Melissa and Joe. But it's weird because the people who like cover Bravo,
John Hamm from Mad Men.
yes.
Too.
I mean, wow, like building your army. I love it. Like, but it's so funny because the people that cover Bravo, like the bloggers or whatever, like people that do like YouTube channels, are so, a lot of them really do believe like, oh, well, this is probably Melissa's last season. And I'm like, where are you arriving at that? Are you just listening to the Twitter? Because like, across the board, it's like, and if you watch the show, I'm like, I'm sorry, but, and this is just me calling it like I see it, there's a group of women there, and it seems like 5 or 6 of them can stand each other and love each other and want to be around each other. And then it seems like there's 2 who kind of are off on their own. And I get that Teresa is, emblematic of Real Housewives of New Jersey for some people, but it's like, until it feels like Teresa and Jennifer can be more connected to the group, like that to me feels like where the show is like cut off. You know what I'm saying?
Of course. I hate that we're so divided without even getting into our show totally because, we're
because
not
it's
really,
hard.
Yeah. I just, it feels divided right now. And I know there's so many like rumors swirling about our
there
show.
Certainly
right now.
are.
There certainly are that I cannot confirm, obviously. I can't confirm
sure.
or deny. Guys, have you ever had any subscriptions that you've just completely forgotten about, and then you discover that you paid for them for the last 6 months and stuff that you never actually even used? Trust me, it happens to me a lot. Me, like most people, think they spend around $80 a month on subscriptions, but the actual total is closer to like $200. And if you don't know exactly how much you're spending every month, you need Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions. It monitors your spending and it helps you lower your bills all in one place. Over 80% of people have subscriptions that they forgot about, and chances are you are one of them. Like a streaming app just to watch one show. Stop throwing away your money. Cancel unwanted subscriptions and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/on-display. That's rocketmoney.com/on-display. rocketmoney.com/on-display. Have you ever been on the hunt for a new doctor and you literally ask everyone you know for the recommendation? A doctor who actually gets you, listens to you, and makes you feel super comfortable. And finally, after weeks of searching, you find the one. So you call their office and they have an appointment available, but then the receptionist tells you this perfect doctor doesn't take your insurance. Wipe your tears, put away the ice cream, and head over to ZocDoc to find and book the doctor who's right for you and that will take your insurance. ZocDoc is a free app where you can find amazing doctors and book appointments online. We're talking about booking appointments with thousands of top-rated, patient-reviewed doctors and specialists. You can filter specifically for ones who take your insurance, are located near you, and treat almost any condition you're searching for. Go to ZocDoc.com/Melissa and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/Melissa. ZocDoc.com/Melissa. But let me ask you this, since we just discussed Instagram. Are you on Threads?
Okay, I'm a little nervous to get on Threads because, are you?
Okay, I am, but like I'm just starting to read things that I shouldn't be, or that I should be scared to be, or that it's they're reading your stuff. What is this?
So I heard that you can't join Threads. So if you join Threads, then you can't get off it without deleting your Instagram. And so now I'm like, okay, so am I signing like a blood pact to be on Threads now? Also, it just feels like it came out of nowhere. And my thing about Threads is just like, this is just going to turn into Twitter. You know what I mean? Like, I understand it's nice now. It feels positive now. It feels like a like a space where we can like interact with each other on social media and it's not toxic now. But it's just a ticking time bomb. And I've been so happy to not be on Twitter. Like, Bowen and I share the Las Culturistas Twitter, and that's how I see what's on there, but I don't have a personal Twitter. So that's been really good for me. So I'm thinking about just keeping Instagram only for now and trying not to dabble into threads, because it always becomes a cesspool somehow when it's just
of hate. But the reason I like this, and I don't tweet, I really don't. Once in a while, I'll throw something up because it's just it's usually negative on there. There's not a lot of positive. It's weird. I feel like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, the rest of them stay a little more. For some reason, Twitter, I'm like, I don't mess with Twitter too much.
Because it's too easy to become ugly quick.
Really quick, but it's because you can make a fake account very easily on Twitter, right? So they can make 5 accounts. I think with Instagram and Threads, the reason I'm going to like it is because it has to go from your Instagram to your Threads. You can't just go and say, I'm a threader. I'm so-and-so 1, 2, 3, 4. You can't do that. You have to come from Instagram to make a Threads, I believe, if I'm 100% right.
I had not even thought of that. And that does change it.
So it makes me happy because you can't hide behind you. We know who you are. Essentially. I mean, whoever your fake Instagram is going to be your fake Threads too, right? But at least there's only one. You can't make you'll have to have multiple fake Instagrams with multiple fake Threads. It would be, you're now a psycho.
I mean, right? My thing is, here's the thing, like a lot of people be psychos, you know, it's like we're talking as people who are like, imagine spending the time doing that. It's like, yeah, they
do. They do it. Trust me when I tell you. I will tell you firsthand. It happens from morning till night. I'm like, go to work. Go to work. I drank.
And then you are wondering, you're left, how are you a functional person? Like, and then maybe you're like, well, then you hear that. Well, I don't want to say any names, but like some famous people have copped to being Instagram trolls or Twitter trolls, like in their past.
Come on, have they?
Well, I think I'll just say this because she was public about it, but Chrissy Teigen once said there was a time where she was like a little bit of a Twitter troll, and she was
into Twitter majorly. Yes.
Yeah. We know that she's into Twitter, from just how she really popped off and everyone learned how she was funny. But before she was super famous, I think she said she had engaged in a lot of negativity on Twitter. And now you look at her and she's this incredibly positive, functional person,
right,
who's out there being Chrissy Teigen, doing a million things and being, a good person.
Marrying John Legend and all
it's
that.
Just she kind of ascended.
Mama of the year, cook,
exactly.
chef.
But she was at one time a Twitter troll, self-professed. So it's these people are out there and they're real, but they have this negative impulse to do that.
Wait, I love how Jennifer Lawrence said to Andy, she has a Finsta. I feel like a lot of famous people do, the big, like J-Lo,
of course
Tyler Perry, these people have to have Finstas that they just troll around on, and they're not, because their social media people, I'm sure, are handling the rest, or we believe that they are. But everyone has a Finsta. I don't. I'm dead honest. I don't. Do you have a Finsta? Matt?
I had one during the pandemic, but it was more just dumb with my friends, us posting stupid photos of each other, and and I mean, it was more just it wasn't a Finsta where I'm creeping and saying anything or commenting or under a.
All right, it wasn't like I'm gonna go tell this person they're a piece of shit.
Right, exactly. I wasn't I don't think it's. I'm really trying to search my own history and brain, if I have ever gone to a celebrity and said something negative on their social media. I don't think so, I don't think that's in me.
Wait, so my sisters and I we were in the sun this weekend, and we just had this conversation. I was like, guys, I have to ask, have any of you ever, I think I posted something and one comment out of the 2,000 positives, I hope the bird pooped in your pool. Just
yeah. Just something that sticks out. You're oh.
Have you guys ever done this? Have you ever wrote something to a celebrity and told them you hated what they said when they were on The View? Or they're never, I don't know anybody who does it, but obviously they're out there,
I mean, yes, I feel well, this is funny. When I was last on Watch What Happens Live, where it feels like I get most in trouble, Andy asked a question do you want Lisa Rinna to return to Beverly Hills Housewives? And I said yes. But I also said, I think she needs to cool it with like talking shit about Bravo, because I had heard that she said like, Housewives of Beverly Hills is going to be boring if I'm not there. Like people had been saying she was saying that, like a bunch of the housewives were asked about it. Like it felt like she was on record saying that. And she DM'd me. And she was like, yeah, she goes, and of course, like I have a DM from Lisa Rinna and I get so excited.
Like,
I'm like, oh my God,
shit.
Lisa Rinna. I'm like so excited. I'm not even thinking it's going to be about this. And she said, listen, Shady Boots. And she's like, I didn't talk about Bravo. She's like, da. And I was just like, oh my God, Lisa, like, I love you. Like, and it was,
do you die when they just slide into your DMs? Like,
I love
the power
it.
you have on Bravo with these housewives.
No. See, and it's funny because like with Housewives, for me, it's like a whole other level. Cause it's like, I genuinely could like, and I've met like, celebrities or whatever. Like I deal with a certain amount of like exposure to that. When it's a housewife, I fall on the floor. Like when Dolores got in the DMs, forget it. It was as if Julia Roberts like came over and kissed me on the cheek. It was just like and so like Lisa Rinna being in my DMs, I was just like, Lisa, I love you so much. I always say you're one of my favorites. Like, I think you did say that, hun, but like, whatever. And she goes, you were so cute on Drag Race, smiley face. And then it was over. You know what I mean? Like,
you were like, okay, good. We're friends. We're good.
But what I liked about that was it was like, it wasn't her coming to my page and posting something publicly. It wasn't like, whatever. It was like, she dropped in the DMs and she was like, hey, listen, Shady Boots, and was like lighthearted about it. And I was like, this is a thing. She made
it funny. She made it cute with still getting her little point across or whatever. She wanted to say hi.
Exactly.
However it went.
Right.
Look at that. You're getting so many housewives contacts. Meanwhile,
it makes me very happy.
So can we talk about Bowen for a second? And that
Sure.
Yes, I want to know how is he doing? What's going on with him? He's taking a minute right now, right?
Yeah, he sure is. So basically, if people listen to our podcast, well, that, Bowen Yang is my best friend. He's not just my podcast co-host. We've been best friends for over 13 years. I mean, this is my true ride or die, like my girl. And so, basically what he's expressed is that he does deal with depression and he is having a particularly tough time right now. And it's intense enough where he just really feels like he needs to take a break. And I said to him, I was like, take all the time that you need, because that's generally what's important to me in a real way. It's just that he feels good and that this should be fun. He said what he's struggling with is called depersonalization, which is like it's a clinical term for what happens where like your sense of reality about the way that you are in the world is just off. Like you feel like you see yourself and you hear yourself, but you're not really there. Like your relationships with other people feel like duller, and he's just really needing to take time to get that together. And I said, what's really great about this is he's really identified the problem and he is doing what he needs to get better. I mean, and this is he's dealing with all this on top of a really busy schedule. He's finishing up shooting the Wicked movie right now. He while the year is going at SNL, that is the most grueling job in the entertainment industry. So there's really not ever a good time when you're someone whose career is exploding like that. I mean, I'm sure you know what it feels like to be one person 1 second and then a whole other person the next. Like one day no one knows who you are, and then it feels like the next day everyone knows who you are, and so
feeling detached from yourself, that's a really scary, that can be a very scary thing. The fact that he was able to recognize that and he, put a pin right on where it's at, and that he knows that is the great first step, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that another thing is, it's weird too, because like as a public person, you have a thing to balance, right? It's like one is like the privacy and the way in which that you can like really get yourself together in a responsible way. And another thing is the fact that like you have an opportunity to share that you're going through this, and people can be moved to take steps to help themselves because of that. And so it is a really interesting line to walk where, what's for me, and of course, like you have to have a boundary, but also what am I comfortable sharing? And I think what was really important to him, and that I've learned from talking to him about it, is that people really understand what it is that he is dealing with, so there can be no confusion and there can be no guessing game about like why he needed to take a step back. So what I really want everyone to know, if people are listening and if people do care, and I thank them so much, is that already things are better. Already there's more perspective, and there's going to be, steps taken to like get him to a healthier place, because he knows he deserves that. And no one should be living every day feeling anything less than good about themselves baseline. And so I'm proud of him, and it won't be too long that he's on the break. But also, if it is, then so be it.
Well, we're proud of him too. Send him my best, because I absolutely love him. And I love that he's brave enough to talk about it and explain it, right?
Yeah.
And I know he's your bestie, so.
For real. And I mean, it's almost like, I think that's what gravitates me towards reality TV so much. Like, it's like, because the real issues, like, you understand how to deal with something and how not to deal with something in a completely different way that like scripted television, of course, is never really going to get across, because like there's a need to escalate in like scripted television on purpose. Whereas if things are escalating on unscripted television, like if it's done well, it's because real personalities are just clashing, or things are happening in someone's life and they're dealing with it in X, Y, and Z ways. And I think that's interesting. And so Bowen is a real person going through a real thing. Right. And, but like I said, it's like, it's a tough line to walk, because he's also going through it in real time. So,
of course. Well, this is what I love about you. You're always so like real. You're very like understanding. You're insightful when you talk. Like whenever you say anything, you make it very clear. So that's honestly one of the best things about you. Okay, guys, I have to tell you about Angie. It's your home for everything home, and they've made it easier than ever to connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done right. Like redoing something in your front yard because your husband doesn't want to do it for the 5th time. Joe. Guys, I have been waiting for an app like this my whole life. You literally can find everything on there. Anyone who can fix anything, from paint to electricians to landscaping, you name it, and you'll find someone to do it on this app. I think it's genius. If you own a home, you know how much work it can take, whether it's everyday maintenance and repairs or making dream projects a reality. It can just be so hard to know where to start. But now all you need to do is Angie that and find a skilled local pro who will deliver the quality and expertise you need. Angie has over 20 years of home service experience, and they've combined it with new tools to simplify the whole process. Bring them your project online or with the Angie app, answer a few questions, and Angie can handle the rest from start to finish. Or they can help you compare quotes from multiple pros and connect you instantly, which means you can take care of just about any home project in just a few taps. Because when it comes to getting the most out of your home, you can do this when you Angie that. Download the free Angie mobile app today or visit Angie.com. That's ANGI.com. This episode of On Display is brought to you by Post-it Brand. Post-it Brand helps people get ideas out of their head and out into the world. They believe in the power of writing it down, since it's the spark of something bigger. I mean, personally, I have Post-its everywhere, guys. They're all over my desk. They're all over Envy. I don't know what people do without a Post-it. The second I think about it, I write it down and I stick it right on my desk, and then things don't get forgotten. Post-it Super Sticky Notes feature 2 times the sticking power to ensure your message stays put. So when you're in a rush, you could just slap it on the board and you don't have to worry that it's going to be gone whenever you get back. 85% of parents believe you're more likely to achieve a goal if you write it down. And that includes me, guys. I tell my kids all the time to write it on a Post-it and you will never forget. Even homework. So there are 8 Post-it Super Sticky Note collections, so you can match them to your style and any color code if you want. Post-it notes are essential for organizing my life in a bold, colorful way. Find your favorite Post-it products at a local retailer today. I want to talk about you for a second and what's going on in your life? Because I follow you on Instagram. You are all over the place. You had a movie. You have lots of projects going on. What's the latest? Tell me what we're doing right now.
So the cool thing is, and this is kind of a chic thing to have happen, I'm actually working really hard on something right now that I can't even really talk about. But suffice it to say, it does involve my Christmas
you should be the Christmas guy. I'm just going to come out and say that.
Let's just say we have a very exciting thing I'm working on literally right now. In fact, even after I log off with you, I'm going to work on it, which is going to expand the Christmas thing. Last year, I did a Christmas special on Showtime called Have You Heard of Christmas?
Yes.
And people that follow the Christmas Matt Rogers of it all know that every year I try to make that a little bit bigger and something a little bit different. And that's definitely happening.
Awesome.
So
very
I can't
exciting.
say too much specifics, but I'm definitely going to be out here in let's say October, November talking about it. And it'll be another good Christmas. But outside of that, the podcast continues on, and because the industry is on strike, I had a couple things I was going to be shooting that got kicked to next year. So I've had a lot of time to just actually, it's been nice. I've been traveling a lot. I went to London to see Beyonce.
I saw that.
That was unreal.
Unreal? In person, is it just unreal?
Are you going to see her?
I do not have tickets. I need to get tickets.
You got to get tickets.
It's worth everything. It's worth it all.
Did you see Taylor Swift?
I didn't see Taylor either.
Oh my God. That was another one.
Okay. I heard the two of them are both insane. My children are begging me to go to Drake, so I think I'm going to go. And by the way, this is a good time to maybe say that everyone should stop throwing things at the performers on stage. Why are they what are they doing?
It's really fucked up. And I have to say, if it was one or two incidents, that would be one thing. It would just be fucked up and crazy. The fact that it's now up to 5, 6 incidents and it's becoming one of those things what's getting normalized, it feels like it's an act of violence that's getting just sort of normal in a way where I'm what?
Yeah, they're feeling famous from doing it. So they're like, haha, I'm the one who did Drake. I'm the one who hit this. It's so messed up that they're doing this. And each day it's Harry Styles now, right? It's it doesn't stop. It's so wrong and disrespectful. I don't get it.
It's really crazy. And as someone who has really enjoyed the concert going experience this year. I've had so much time. So I really have been going to shows.
You're out there in those streets at those concerts.
There in the streets. It's really.
I saw you. You were at Pride. You have been.
I was at World Pride in Sydney. Okay. I saw Kylie Minogue at World Pride.
Go.
No, I mean,
my cousin Nick, by the way, lives vicariously through you. He's like, when do I get to have a drink with Matt? I'm very
That
soon.
Is something that can very easily be scheduled. Well, in New York, I'm not in New York right now because I'm working, but I'm in New York half the time now. I live in Queens.
Okay, so that's an easy. We're gonna meet for a cocktail situation because he's just. It's one of those things that the perks of being my cousin is he's gonna get to have a cocktail with you one day.
I mean, listen, I did famously say you give the aspirational older cousin energy from when I was growing up.
And
that was me.
Just FYI, my cousin Nick is the one who sent me that clip and he was like, this is our guy. I love this guy. You have to pay attention to him. He's blowing up. And I do believe you are and you are already blowing up. You have so many projects and so many things. And I've said this before and I told my husband this. I think you are going to be very, very successful, even way more than you are right now.
You
have
lovely.
such a likability to you and such a rational, reasonable. You don't care. You speak what's on your mind. You're talented in so many areas. You talk so well. I'm I don't know. You're it's endless what I feel like you're going to be. I honestly feel that deep inside.
You're
Not that
best.
I'm a professional, but I do feel that.
Well, you've been around. I mean, you know what's up. I mean, you know what's funny too is what you have to tell Joe is that what was one of my favorite parts of that night was I brought my two of my best friends, Patrick and Dave, to the Watch It Happens live show.
It Happens live.
When we were on together, and Andy couldn't handle it because we kept looking over, and my girls, Patrick and Dave, were just getting into it with Joe, and Andy was dying hysterical. He was like, I am loving what's happening over here. Like, you have to know, like, you have to tell Joe, he's got a lot of gay fans,
They
which I'm sure he
love
knows.
him. I know he does. He does. He does. And Andy kept saying, because the three of them were sitting in the front row and pretty
Vibing.
much ignoring all of us and everything going on watching the show. They were just Andy's like, these three are having a kiki. These three.
They really were going for it. I was really proud of our color story that night.
You what?
Our color story. You and I, we
how did
worked
that
it out.
even happen? We just looked
you were
so
in pink,
cute.
you looked stunned, and I was like, I want to do purple because we were doing it the day after Valentine's Day, and I had just gone through a breakup, so my vision was like love but a little sour. And so, like, I
love you. I cannot. But we matched, like, we were like a team that night. We were awesome.
Good. Every time I go in, it ends up being, I end up being like, sort of like, it works. Like,
it works. Even the other night with Lala, it worked.
She's the best, by the way. She sent me a sweatshirt. She got in the DMs. Yeah.
I'm sending you my reunion sweatshirt that everybody's going crazy over. Yeah, where it's the try to control yourself sweatshirt.
Yes. You know. Oh wait. Oh my God. I almost even went on and bought it. I was like, I need to.
No. We're gonna send that right on over to you, even though it's sold out constantly. But as soon as it comes back in. I know you hate me, but just try to control yourself.
I love it. I could wear that around some people. You know, I'm like a connoisseur of Housewives merch. I'm literally looking at an Onyi Home Essentials candle right now. Dr. Romeo Cepho down. I mean, I be buying shit that the girls are selling. Yes.
Okay, I'm so annoyed that you don't have this sweatshirt right now.
You know what? Probably when I was like stoned one night, I was like, let me log on, and it probably was sold out.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
I want to get my sister a bunch of Envy stuff for Christmas or her birthday because I think she would look so cute in your stuff.
Well, I'll help you like personally pick this stuff. So cute. Do you like blue or black sweatshirt? Which color do you like? A hoodie or non-hoodie? Black. Okay.
A blue sweatshirt is cute. What blue are we talking? Are we giving navy?
It's like a pretty bright blue, but it's a hoodie, and the other one's a crew neck.
Love a crew neck.
Oh, all right. So we're gonna give you the black.
Very into the black crew neck vibe. I even have like something about her like merch from Vanderpump Rules.
I love it.
You know what's funny? I live around the corner from Schwartz and Sandy's.
You do?
Yes, and so before all the scandal, like I was there a couple times, like, and I just because like. I was like, let me go in there and see what's up. This is before anything went down. Now it's like, I'm like, oh, it must be a ghost town. And I went by just because it's like literally right there. I was shopping at like a supermarket and it actually was lit. Like there was a lot of people there. And I'm like, this is wild. I'm like, I wouldn't be caught dead in there now.
No one is boycotting. No one is boycotting. It's not. Listen, he even goes to sing and people are.
I know. People are there.
They're there. You know, it's just the way the world works, you know?
Yeah.
I'm sure you heard a little bit about Kyle and Mauricio. I'm very good friends with her. So I just don't want to hit it too much. But what are your initial thoughts? First of all, I was in shock.
You were in shock.
Well, when I first read it, because when I first read it, I believed it because it was people. It looked like it was her statement. And legit. I was like, I was heartbroken actually. Besides it, I was very, very sad because I know them as a couple and I love them. But then as I've seen her clear things up and clarify, I'm like, you know what? This was not out of her mouth. This is not her statement. When at first I thought it was, you know,
I feel like, what seems clear to me is that she seems to be going through something. Like it feels like maybe she is going through some changes. Like maybe she wants to surround herself with some different people. She just wants to explore other elements of her personality. And I think that that's understandable. And honestly, oftentimes like really good for someone to just like really be like, hey, who else am I now that my kids are older, now that this is going on XYZ? What other things about my personality have I not explored? What have I maybe repressed? You know, what gets tough is that there's another person in that dynamic. And if you're going to be someone who goes through those changes and indulges in those things, you have to also know that that person should probably be afforded that same opportunity, right? So it's like, I don't necessarily think that they're done. I think that they are going through an evolution in terms of what their relationship is. And obviously, I root for anyone to keep themselves intact if in a good relationship. But the fact is, like, while we've watched their relationship over these last years, we don't know what happens when the cameras are down. We don't know, like, what the real conversations are. And I think, like, it could just be a thing of them needing to try some stuff.
And listen, Joe and I have been through a time, right? And I feel like we showed a little bit of it on TV, but it happens, like, at different points in marriages, you feel different. You might want to try, you don't know. It's just, you lose it for a minute, or you lose sight for a second, or who knows? We can't even say we know any of this is even true. We do know that she came out and said, you know, basically that there's ups and downs in marriages and whatever it is, but I'm always rooting for them. On Display with Melissa Gorga is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Hey guys, whether you love true crime or comedies, celebrity news, just regular news, or even motivational speakers, you call the shots on what's in your podcast playlist, right? And guess what? Now you can call the shots on your auto insurance too. Enter the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. The Name Your Price tool puts you in charge of your auto insurance by working just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for insurance, then they'll show you a variety of coverages that fit within your budget, giving you all the options. Now, that's something you're going to want to press play on. It's easy to start a quote, and you'll be able to choose the best option for you and fast. It's just one of the many ways you can save with Progressive Insurance. Quote today at progressive.com and try the Name Your Price tool for yourself and join the over 29 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Want more TMZ in your life? Then download the TMZ podcast.
The judge could say the only way they could go on TikTok is if X happens.
Wow. What if 50 years from now, lawyers are citing, West v. Kardashian for social media?
Available now on Apple, Spotify, Google, or wherever you get your podcasts.
There's no recklessness there unless you assign to Alec Baldwin the obligation to have checked that round.
Well, is the Clooney rule industry standard, right?
Clooney rule.
No, well.
Follow us today so you get the real story.
What about Kim and Croy? Now, like, they're back together.
The fact that they're back together is like, okay, so that is a whole other situation, because it's like with Kyle and Mauricio, at least what you see on television is it's like you kind of watch them, especially Kyle, because she's kind of like the protagonist of the show, and you do kind of like map onto her a little bit. Like, Kyle is all of us, as I guess they would say. You know what I mean? Like, Kyle is the empath friend. Kyle is like, you know, that person who we attach to when we watch the show. And so we root for her relationship. Kim and Croy, it was always sort of this like crazy looking thing. It's like the Kim of it all is very heightened and bizarre. And then their relationship seemed like it was working. It seemed like they were happy together, but also like so many question marks because she hasn't been on the show. I think what's happening is we're just kind of seeing, like, you know, the groundwork being laid for her return to the show.
Is that what you think it's all about? Because
yes, and I mean, even her being on this last episode, and Atlanta needs it. I'll be honest with you.
I know. Have you been watching? People are.
I haven't. It's honestly, it's not hard to watch because the dynamics are weird. It's just honestly, it's hard to stay engaged because I don't think a lot is happening. Like, it's just not that interesting right now. And I love Atlanta. I think Atlanta, when it's on, is like some of the best. But Atlanta is not giving what the other franchises are giving right now. And I wonder if it's just because the dynamics just feel a little stale. And I don't know that the new cast members are necessarily popping off.
Right.
I wonder if maybe Kim coming back
would be a good thing.
More fun. Yeah.
Are you down with that? Like, would you like to see Kim come back?
For sure. I mean, like, I'm always down with, can I say, like, I am one of those people that's like, I like to see the OGs. I like to see people that have been there for a really long time, like, come back, stay on. You know what I mean? Because these are the people that we're really invested in. Like, for example, like, you know, I've been watching a lot of Old New York recently, just like, and I do love Old New York, and that's why it's been nice to have Lou and Sonia's new show. Like,
did you watch
that's really
Crappy
fun.
Lake?
I did. I
You
laughed the whole
did.
time.
It was
laughed
funny.
the whole
I saw
time.
it. I watched it.
I mean, Lou hitting on that fireman was it's just so
Hysterical.
good. It's just so good.
The two of them just have such a sexual orientation. Is that the right word?
they do have a sexual orientation. That is
They
true.
just walk in and they're like, who?
They're very
wants
sexually
me?
oriented. Yes,
Yes.
they are not shy. But
Yes.
it's and I'm really hoping for the best for the New York. But it's just like, what I really hope is that they're a real group of friends and it feels like interesting conflict and not just like drag and drop housewives conflict. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like,
What,
I want to
with
be
the new New
invested
York,
in the
you're saying?
relationships. Yes. Like the way that the old New York, like that felt like we were watching a real group of friends have real conflict. I just want that again too. The Atlanta of it all, it's kind of just like, yes, we've had a lot of these women for a long time, but it's like, we need something to make it exciting.
Right. You need that moment. Maybe they haven't had it yet. Maybe it's coming.
Maybe. It's just like, there was recently a plot line that was like Marlo trying to say that Candy wasn't good enough about reaching out when her nephew was shot years ago. And I was like, what is this? I was like, I don't want to talk about shootings. Like, I was just like, at a certain point, it's like the sprinkle cookies, please.
Oh my God.
Let's get back to the sprinkle cookies.
Yeah, it's you're like, please, can we? This is the biggest thing I think in Housewives. You need to recycle the old stuff, like the old storylines. We need to stop. We need fresh and new. And especially on our show, we are it's like, let's just talk about what happened within the last 6 months instead of within the last 6 years. Right?
Yeah. I mean, like, I can't hear about she's upset that you guys joined the show again. Like,
if I even, it's like it goes in one ear and out the other. It's like, okay, and what else? And what else?
It's like, if you weren't going to be a big part of this show, you would have been let go after the second or third season you were on. You've been on it for over a decade. It's like, at this point, it's like, you can't respect that, like, that's part of the show. And then it's just like, I want to know, well, it's like this, right? It's like, anyone whose therapist is like, you have to learn to forgive, and then you can apply that to everyone in your life but your family, that is what's next to explore. Literally
Everyone who has done 10 times worse. I can't see, because now I'll go. You want me to do? I'm not going to go down the hole, Matt.
I understand.
Are you?
It's got to stay. It's got to stay there. But anyway, what I'm saying is, like, stay positive, because you have no reason to not.
I want to come on your podcast.
I know. One of these days you can spill the tea.
Wait, so before we end this, one of my favorite things about you, and that you're very famous for, by the way, is the I don't think so, honey. Okay. You're very famous for that. So I need to do this. We're going to put 60 seconds on the clock, and I need a new I don't think so, honey, from you.
Okay, sure. Okay. I can do one. Let me know when I start.
We're going to put 60 seconds on the clock. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. I have to say how it works. Okay. Britney Spears.
Yes. Okay. So I don't think so, honey. When you are throwing things at celebrities, it's wrong, and I condemn you, and you should go to prison for the act of assault. When you throw hands at Britney Spears, when you are a security guard meant to de-escalate situations, and you throw a hand at Britney Spears, I don't think so, honey, that it's just prison. It is fucking Alcatraz. It is, you need to be locked up far away. I don't think so, honey. Lack of respect for the queen. After all that she has been through, I don't care that she wanted a picture with someone. You turn around and you de-escalate the situation better than tossing a hand back in her face. Yes, did I watch the video? I did. I don't think so, honey, that Britney was necessarily totally above board. It looks like she kind of rushed the guy. I would be nervous too. But I don't think so, honey, not feeling in your bones. We need gayer security guards who have a better spidey sense, because we need the security guard to understand who is coming up and who is being dealt with. And it's Britney Spears. The Woman in Me, her autobiography, comes out in October. I wish that they could add a chapter about the disrespect that she was experiencing that night.
Woo! How do you do that off the cuff? I would shit my pants. I don't know.
You know what I was saying? I just did a recent episode of my podcast, and I said, this is the truth about me. Whenever I start talking, I never know if I'm going to land the plane, but it always lands. Like, that's kind of how I am. Like, I'll just start going. Like, that's how you can tell I was raised in Long Island. My bit with like Long Island people, and probably you get this too, because it's like a tri-state area
Jersey,
thing.
Long Island, same shit.
This is how it is, right? It's like, whenever you ask someone a question that has a yes or no answer, a Long Island Jersey person will always say 100 words for every one word. So it's like, hey, what are you thinking tonight? Pasta? Or are you thinking tonight chicken? Well, I was thinking about that before, and I thought, I could go to the store and get chicken, but, I had the pasta. We also had the pasta from the other night when I was going to do, when we were having people over and they didn't end up coming over. You remember that was a whole thing. And I'm just like, okay, it's a yes or no. It's a chicken or pasta question. It is not about the state of affairs in this nation.
You are 1000% correct on that.
Yeah.
Matt, I love you so much.
I love you back.
So fun. I can't
Always
wait to see what you're up to towards the end of the year, because
I'm going to tell you the second we hit stop.
Just listen, keep your girl in mind. If there's ever a nice little spot, a little cameo, a little anything, I will be very insulted if there's any other housewife. I have amazing acting skills, by the way.
Listen, I keep my eyes on the girls. Let's just say
eyes on the prize.
I'm not the only one like the OC cast. I'm looking at the IMDb pages too, okay?
There you go. Keep looking at them. Keep looking at them.
Exactly. OC is great right now.
Yes. You guys all make sure to check an eye out on everything he does, because you're going to laugh and you're going to smile. I know I said this already, but I love you so much. You're so positive. You're insightful. You're entertaining. You're everything we need. We all need a Matt Rogers in our life. So thank you for being on display today.
I love being on display. Thank you for having me.
Of course. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Mwah.
Stream the biggest blockbusters this summer with Popcorn Summer Movies on Pluto TV. Indulge in hilarious rom-coms like The Backup Plan, or delve into award-winning dramas like Forrest Gump and Minari, with thousands of other free movies. Pluto TV has something for everyone. Available on live TV and on demand. Download Pluto TV on all your favorite devices and start streaming now.